Thank you very much at magandang araw po sa inyo lahat, mga kaibigan. Nagbabalik po ang inyong programang Aksyon Central Luzon Special Edition. Ito po si Sunny Lopez. And you know that we are celebrating our 5th year. And we have very special guests recently, and today is no different because I have with me two gentlemen who talaga pong tumutulong ng napalaki sa bansa po natin. Hindi lamang po dito sa Clark Freeport, pero sa buong bansa po natin. And napakahalaga po ng kanilang ginagawa. The gentleman to my right, you're familiar with the gentleman because he's with Peregrine Development International. And a few months back, he was my special guest in this program. I'm talking about Mr. Dennis L. Wright. Mr. Dennis?
Thank you very much for coming back. It's always a pleasure, Sonny.
Yes. And today, he brought with him a very special gentleman who's known not only in the Philippines but worldwide. U.S. educated, with lots of business interests, and more important, he's doing the Philippines a lot of good. He's close to the president, he's working with the president, he's working to see some things happening not only in Clark but in Mindanao. I'm talking about a member of the Royal Al Sabah family of Kuwait, Sheikh Ahmed Dud Saman Al Sabah. Sir, welcome.
Thank you, Sunny, and thank you for hosting us. And all the best to the ACL staff. Thank you.
Sir, you've been in the Philippines for so many times, about 6 times.
Right.
You're not just in Clark, you moved to Mindanao. What have you been doing lately, sir?
Well, in the beginning, my friend Dennis Wright, he invited me to come to the Philippines. This is like a few years ago. And I was very doubtful. You know, I was very hesitant because the Philippine country didn't come to me as investment area or didn't promote itself. Our area in Kuwait, we always look for Indonesia, Malaysia. We never really thought about the Philippines. But he was very persistent. You know, he's been living here for 20 years. And so as a courtesy, I came.
Yes, sir.
And I had many doubts. And then I became a believer in the Philippines and the opportunities. And from that time, it became history. I mean, we find opportunities, we identify projects, and we start working closely with the government here. And so it was great trip.
And you're most welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Especially that a lot of Filipinos are based in Kuwait, working there.
Yes, we have around 125,000 Filipinos. And the last trip, His Excellency Prime Minister last year, I had the honor to be with his team to meet the administration here with Madame Gloria Macapagal and her ministers. And at the dinner, His Highness the Prime Minister told the government here that Kuwait can be open as many as Filipinos they can work there, because they are very good people and trouble-free. Hardworking, very speak English, and you know it's good for both culture to mix together for the best of both countries.
But even in the Middle East, with all the oil money there, Kuwait is one of the fastest developing area.
In the Middle East?
In the Middle East.
I mean, it varies really. Like in Saudi Arabia, it's a huge population, huge country. You probably have more than 1 million Filipinos. In Kuwait, there's development. In Qatar, it's more like all in parallel, yes. You know. As long as the oil revenue keep coming, there's always going to be. That's why we are looking for other areas to invest.
Yes, sir.
You know, and to diversify our investment. And this is a great country here to do that.
But a lot of people have noticed that since you came here, you become a sort of an ombudsman, a trade advocate between our countries, the Philippines and Kuwait. And it seems that you really want the Philippines to be at par with the rest of the Southeast Asian nations.
Yes, Sonny. Look, I mean, what happened is I am a very big believer of the Philippines and its potential. I mean, you see the warmth of the people here. Everybody speaks English. People are really nice, and the economy is good. There's stability, skillful workers. Many things you don't find in other countries. That's why we're focused here, you know.
Sir.
and I became like more like a ambassador between the two countries. It just happened by default. When you meet people, people ask you from both sides. People read in the paper, and they ask you. And once we made a big investment here, people really have been after us. You know,
and it looks like many officials of the Philippine government trust you. They believe in what you tell them and the potentials that you're going to bring not only in Clark but in the whole country.
That's right. That's right. I mean, this is my. You have to be straightforward in these kind of transactions and transparent with everybody. That's how you build a reputation, and this is advice for everybody to do.
Okay. When was the last time you came to Clark?
8 months ago.
Yes. Since you came to Clark, what are the changes that you've seen that impress you or probably put you down?
Many. I mean, we saw the Texas Instrument, it's soft opening now. It's a huge compound. We're very proud for that to be here. Going to create a lot of jobs. Singapore Airline hangar.
Yes, sir.
Many. It's like a mini boom in Clark.
More flights coming in. More airlines coming in.
Yes, there's more flights. There's a lot of hotels we saw in. There was condominiums area, and we saw it. I mean, so many. We drove in by Fontana also. Fontana is expanding their villas. I mean, that's just really comes back to our vision. Go back to our guys in the Middle East that they were doubtful or they didn't believe. This is everybody's putting their money here and investing. So you know they didn't miss the boat. But my advice is for them to really look at this area seriously, and with the transactions are so smooth, so transparent. It's a good deal for anybody to be here.
So, Mr. Dennis, in effect, the Sheikh here has become one of our top spokesperson, salesman for the Philippines. Huh?
He has become very much ardent advocate and spokesperson on the Philippines, and unlike a lot of leaders, they don't actually get out at the grassroots level and really see what happens, but I'm sure he can share with you some more of his experiences. Last week when we were in Mindanao, literally on the road in the provinces with the people, seeing both how life is in the provinces, but also what it's like in the bigger cities. And had an opportunity to spend time in both General Santos City and Davao. Also the provincial capital in Sultan Kudarat. The governor was very gracious to host us for lunch and actually acted as a chauffeur, showing us the pride that you could see of the people in Mindanao. But there are very few leaders of Sheikh Ahmed's stature that takes the time to get out. They may come and visit Malacanang and see the palace and meet with, but he's actually gotten out in more places in the Philippines. He's become an expert on the Philippines, and that's what it really takes.
And he's the top, you're not just discussing things with the top officials of the country, but with some of the local government unit heads.
That's correct.
That's how deep you have been doing business here. I know for a fact that before you anything else, you talk to the local leaders. You were not just talking, because you just have to talk to Clark, but you talk to the leaders outside Clark and made inroads with your discussions with them.
Absolutely, both the political and business leaders, not one or the other. You really need to have a balance, and clearly the government is involved in many opportunities that you have to pursue, so you do need the relationships with the government. But you also have, obviously, very good relationships with Filipino partners, whether it's financial institutions, legal advice, transactional analysis. You need a broad spectrum of that. And I think one of the other attractive features of the Philippines is it's a relatively straightforward business environment to operate in. Everybody likes to malign various aspects, but in reality, if you talk to the companies who are here, they all tell you they operate fine and they're making money. It is you have to understand the business environment and then proceed.
But one thing I've noticed with the president, because I tried to read the president's